Hey everybody. So for a while I really wanted to make this book review because it's been a really really long time since I'd done a book review, and I really want to talk about one of my all-time favorite books. It was a book that I read in sixth grade. It was called Blackwater by Eve Bunting. For those of you who went to like McFarland High School, Indiana Middle School, and all the schools that I went to, this book was pretty big back when it came out. It came out around the time I was in middle school, so it came out around the time where, because I'd say this book is marketed mostly toward people who fall in the 12 to 17 range. But even still, in my adult years, I just love this book. It's just so good. Um, so Blackwater, you guys, I really wanted to talk about this book. And I've been postponing this review for so long, but I finally got around to doing it. So Blackwater, you guys, it is a book about a kid named Brody Lynch. Yeah, Brody Lynch, and he has a cousin coming over for the summer. It's the end of the school year. He's trying to figure out what he's going to do with for the summer, and he has his cousin over. So when he has his cousin over, he finds out that his cousin doesn't know how to swim. Luckily, Brody Lynch lives next to a lake, and he promises his cousin that he's going to teach him how to swim. So the following morning, he wakes him up early, and him and the cousin go out to the lake to teach him how to swim. While all that's going on, Brody sees a girl that he really likes from school on a rock right in the middle of the lake with a guy that he really hates from school. So he tells the cousin, I'll be right back. If there's just something I really want to take care of, I'll be right back. So he swims up to the rock because Brody's a really good swimmer. I think he like won awards at his school for all the swimming meets that he was a part of and everything else. So he's a big swimmer in this local area. So he goes up to the rock, tries to figure out the whole scenario with this girl that he likes from school and this guy that he really hates from school. And he pulls the guy into the water because he just wants to piss this guy off. So the girl kind of looks down. She's like, Brody Lynch? And I believe his name was Pauline Generu. And so Brody's kind of, at first he's kind of like, oh, hey, Pauline, I just want to kind of get your attention. So he does. And so him and this, I think his name is Todd McCandless or something. They get into this fight. They really don't. All three of them really don't know what's going on. I mean, Brody was mad at Todd for invading the girl, and the girl was mad at Brody for pulling the guy into the water and everything else. But here's the twist. So at this rock where these two people were making out, and Brody swims out to meet them there. Beyond that rock is something called Blackwater, and the water is literally black. It even portrays it here on the cover. Here we have the clear lake water, the rock, and then the black water that's after the rock. And oddly enough, while they're fighting in the water, Todd gets kicked into the black water beyond the rock. And the girl gets mad at Brody. She's like, what did you do to my Todd? What did you do to my Todd? And well, accidentally she lands into the black water too and dies. So we have two dead people now in the water, and it's all really Brody's fault for doing it. And even though Brody wanted to stand up for this girl that he really liked, he should have kind of just give her space and say, you know what, maybe she does like this guy, and I gotta leave it be. So now Brody's in trouble, and at this point in the story, the cousin now has gotten a call from. He called up 911 saying, my cousin's in trouble. We have these two dead bodies in the lake, and at the time he said, but my cousin tried to save them. So, and now Brody is supposedly the town hero. People are thanking him, they're celebrating with him. Um, Brody's invited to the funeral of these two people. So Brody now has to live with this guilt of something that he's guilty of, and people are calling him something that he's the opposite of at this point in the story. So the story continues, and Brody keeps on getting these letters. And let me see if I say the right thing here. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure these letters say tell on them. So he gets some form of letters consistently throughout the story. And at one point in the story, you do find out who all those letters are coming from, which I won't reveal in this review obviously. So Brody's living with this guilt. He's committed this awful crime when all he really wanted to do is say, "Hey, I really, really like you, and why all of a sudden are you moving in on this guy when I thought you and I had something going on?" Because at the beginning of the story, even before the cousin came to meet Brody for the summer, Brody had planned with this girl. They're going to go to the movies. They were going to go on these dates, go on the mall. So Brody was going to live almost the rest of his life with this girl. They had something special, like you read earlier in the story. So, but what's really neat about this story, guys, is just the fact that Brody lives with the guilt that I think we would all live with if we did something that Brody did. And just the story was so brilliantly written. These characters feel so real. The cousin, the chemistry between the cousin and Brody is just so good. They seem like people who don't really get together, don't meet up a lot with the family a lot. So you really get this impression that they catch up on things, they catch up on life. They were there for each other. They kind of just go with it when it comes to we're the heroes of the situation. So if you have not read Blackwater, guys, it's a terrific book. This Brody Lynch was really guilty. He really didn't feel good about himself after he was given a title in the town that people were giving him that he really did not feel comfortable with what he did. It's just a really interesting story. It's interesting to see how he plays this whole thing out and how he kind of lives with this guilt and what kind of convinces him to kind of the ideas he gets to help him live with that guilt and make himself feel better. So Blackwater, guys, I know it's a little hard to find. I actually had to pre-order this at Barnes and Noble to get a copy of this because it is so hard to track down. But Blackwater, guys, if you have not read this book, it's so good. Even if you don't read a lot of books, and like I said, this is probably only my second book review I've ever did on Facebook or YouTube or any of that. Um, but make sure that you check this book out. It is really, really good, guys. I give this book a 10 out of 10. One of the best books I ever read. Make sure you check out Blackwater by Eve Bunting.